Hey guys, it's Mistress Nightmare here, and today we'll be reading Chapter 3, You Are Special. Before we get started, please hit that like button, comment, subscribe to this channel if you guys want more creepypasta fanfictions out there. Until then, let's get started. YN quickly burst through the front door, thankfully that her parents were gone, probably bar hopping like they normally do. She marched upstairs to get ready for Jeff's arrival. She took her backpack and flipped it in upside down, dumping its contents on the floor. Only putting back inside was her pencil case and notebook. She went back to the boxes and shuffled through the 3 dresses, underwear, and few pairs of t-shirts and jeans that she owns. She propped them on the backpack on the mattress and waited, nervously picking at the under of her fingernails as she did. 30 minutes into waiting, YN felt her eyelids grew heavy, probably falling from all the excitement from killing those 2 bullies. Maybe just a quick nap, she told herself as she laid down, closing her eyes, instantly falling asleep. Hey, wake up. YN's eyes fluttered open. She rubbed the sleep out of them. Huh? Oi, any year now. YN slowly opened her eyes and met the face-to-face with Jeff. She slightly flinched, but calmed down, knowing that he wasn't going to hurt her. Propping herself up, she looked and rubbed the sleep out of her eyes. She looked at the clock, and it showed about 8 p.m. So, I'm guessing you're here for your answer? She asked. Yup, Jeff said, holding YN's backpack up. Yeah, but Jeff, she started. There was something I wanted to make clear. I can't. A loud scream could be heard. Both teenagers were both startled by the high-pitched scream coming from downstairs, along with another sound like something slashing in a wet thump. Forgetting about Jeff, YN ran downstairs to see what was all the commotion about. When she reached the living room, she paled. There on the ground was her mother and father. Were pieces of them anyway. Their limbs, their body parts were scattered everywhere in the room. Was painted with crimson of their blood. YN used all of her willpower not to keep her stomach from throwing up its contents. What? Mom? Dad? YN choked, eventually. Even though they never cared for her, YN felt some sadness and the loss of her parents. Since they were the reason she was on this face of the earth to begin with, she fell to her knees. She did not cry. She just stared blankly at the dead body parts that were once her parents. Ah, we finally meet, my child, a demonic voice said behind her. YN stirred to her feet and gasped loudly. Before she stood what looked like to be a devilish version of himself. His skin was black with a hint of red everywhere, huge horns sticking out of its head. And he wore a black and red cape. It seemed to be going with his body. YN took a step back, shaking a little bit. Oh, there's no need to fear, my child. I won't hurt you, the creature assured, though with its claws on its body, YN wasn't too sure about that. She swallowed a huge lump that was forming in the back of her throat before achingly asking, Who are you? Me? Why, I'm Zago, your creator. Huh? What do you mean by that? Well, let me. Zago was cut off by the shout of Zago. Jeff sprinted into the room and positioned himself in front of YN, his knife drawn out and pointed at Zago. What the hell do you think you're doing here? Lovely to see you again, Jeff, Zago said sarcastically. I'm afraid we cannot talk. I must take my daughter home with me. Your daughter? That's a load of crap, if I ever heard of any. It seems you don't understand. Allow me to inform you on something. That girl behind you, that is my creation. Your creation, YN asked, staying behind Jeff, but kept her eyes on Zago. Yes, after some years of falling to defeat by Slenderman, I thought of a different tactic by creating a proxy for myself. That's when I found your mother. She was standing next to a abandoned clinic. That's when I struck. I knew the child was unwanted and would be labeled a sad and lonely life, a life where she would do anything of some sort of attention. So I was so I cursed your mother, making sure that she did not kill you with nightmares beyond anyone could ever imagine. And it worked. You were born. I marked you. I infused your powers in you. I left and I waited for the right time when your powers will fully bloom. Just like today. That's when I knew it. It was time for me to take you and let you live with me. Marked me. You mean this? She lifted up her dress, revealing the black mark that looked like a circle with two horns on each side of it. On her thigh, which meant is similar to Zago's head. His face grew into a grin, even scarier than before. Jeff was shown the pointed teeth. Exactly. Now he held out a claw. We shall go, YN. She stared at the claw back at him. Taking a deep breath, she shook her head. No, I'm not going with you. Zago frowned deeply. What? Jeff spoke up. You heard her. You Satan wannabe. She ain't going with you. Silence, you. Zago lunged forward and tried to swipe at Jeff, but YN reacted fast. She looked to the side and saw the knife blocking back in the kitchen. Every single one of them flew out of position, poising themselves in front of her and Jeff like a shield. They were pointing at Zago clearly in challenge. He quickly stopped and retreated. Didn't think that would work, YN said quietly to herself. Jeff smirked widely. Well, this is what I call a teenage rebellion. He chuckled at his own joke, but got serious. You heard that, lady. Get out of here, Zago. It doesn't matter who you are or what she is. You aren't getting her. Zago growled, but he knew YN was dangerous, even though she had yet to understand her full extent of her powers. Fine, but be warned. I will not stop until she's in my hands. Even if you call those hands, Jeff muttered, but he still heard Zago. Zago looked over at YN. You'll see, YN. No one can love you like I do. You are my child, and no one will ever have you. Farewell for now. A dark cloud of smoke erupted from his body, and Zago was gone. YN did her best to stop shaking. She needed to calm down. All the knives fell to the floor with a clunking sound. Oh boy. This just got a bit more complicated, Jeff said sadly, scratching the back of his head. What do you mean? Jeff shook his head. Never mind. Just go get your stuff and we'll be leaving. But I'll explain everything. We need to get to the mansion. Jeff snapped. YN nodded and went back upstairs to get her backpack and left the house with Jeff. Looking back at it one more time and then ran with him through the forest to her new life.